Welcome everyone to a little bit of light, awaiting Mashiach. So the Chafetz Chaim again continues his discussion about awaiting Mashiach, and he brings at a point about if we're truly waiting for Mashiach, that should actually motivate us to act in to act upon that. And here's how he lays it out. The Torah tells us midvar sheker tirchak, which means from a matter of shek, from a matter of falsehood, tirchak, you shall distance yourself. Which that means to say that not only are we to refrain from a blatant lie, but we have to refrain also from, even when we say something that's not completely not true, but there are certain parts of it that are untrue of what we're saying. That's what it means to distance yourself. Even if it's not a blatant lie, but there's some falsehood mixed in, you have to stay away from that. That's something we have to stay away when we deal with each other, all the more so when we're dealing with Hashem. And all the more so when we're dealing with Hashem and actually mentioning his name regarding this kind of matter that it would seem that we're not being 100% truthful about. And therefore, says the Chafetz Chaim, there are 3 times a day we say a prayer, the prayer of Aleinu. And the second half of the prayer of Aleinu goes, Al keinu kavalacha Hashem Elokeinu. Therefore, we hope you, Hashem, our God, lirois mehera b'sifar zuzecha, to see your mighty splendor, lahavi gelulim in haaretz, to remove detestable idolatry, l'sakan v'alim koisi kareison, and all false gods would be utterly cut off, l'sakan elamachu shakai, to perfect the universe through the Almighty's sovereignty, etc. What we're basically saying, the second half of the prayer of Aleinu is that we're hoping to you, Hashem, that you will reveal yourself through the coming of Mashiach. Well, if we're saying to Hashem, we are hoping to you, and we're actually saying Hashem's name, Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem our God, if we're actually doing that, then we have to be very truthful. If we're not going to be completely truthful, then we are not being truthful when we're dealing with God. It says the Chafetz Chaim, if we're truthful about hoping to Hashem that he will reveal his glory in the world, then we should be doing something about that. We should be getting ready. In what way? We should become proficient. We should become knowledgeable in the laws of the sacrifices and the Beis HaMikdash. Because when Mashiach comes, they will be very relevant. And he says, imagine, again, this is a kind of parable for his time. He says, imagine the king is coming to visit a city, and they don't know which part of the city he's going to go through. Well, in anticipation of his coming, they got to get ready. And every street has to be cleaned and adorned and ready in case the king comes down that street. So if you're waiting for the king, then you got to get ready. So here too, if we're waiting for Hashem to be revealed in the world through the coming of Mashiach, we have to get ready. What does getting ready mean? We have to get ready for the laws that can become relevant in that time, which are the laws of the sacrifices and the laws pertaining to the Beis HaMikdash, the Holy Temple. And then he says, if the Torah scholars, meaning those who are supposed to be knowledgeable in the laws, are not going to know them, it's going to be a very embarrassing thing for that scholar. So why is it? Why aren't we studying these laws? It's because we're saying something before God that we're not really serious about. And as I mentioned before, we're saying we're saying Hashem's names on this. So it's interesting, the Chafetz Chaim is saying this is a matter of falsehood if we say something and we don't really mean it. And how do we know we don't really mean it? Because if we really meant it, we'd be getting ready. Getting ready means, as he says, learning the laws that pertain to sacrifice in the Beis HaMikdash. And then he says, if you think about it, we are saying Hashem's name regarding the fact that we're saying that we're waiting for him, and we're not being truthful about it. We're saying Hashem's name each week. We make the calculation. Aleinu is said 3 times a day. That's 2 names of Hashem, 6 names every day. 7 days a week is 42 names. There are 42 times we're saying Hashem's name in a way that we're not being truthful. And he says, if you think about it, or in an entire year, you're saying more than 2,000 holy names, which he says, and we're not serious about it. So the Chafetz Chaim now is going to continue discussing this idea about learning the laws of the Karbanis and the Beis Hamikdash, if we're truly anticipating the coming of the Beis, we're truly anticipating the return of the Beis Hamikdash for the coming of Mashiach, and how we have to be so careful that when we are saying we hope for you, we have to be truthful, because every time we say something, we're not allowed any falsehood in it. If we're saying something we're not serious about, there's a little falsehood to that, and therefore when we say that, we should be serious. We should mean it, and mean it means we should be studying the halachas, the laws that will become relevant when Mashiach comes. The Chafetz Chaim will continue with this, and Meretz Hashem will continue with this next week. Thank you for listening. Have a wonderful Shabbos.